Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 2000 Daihatsu Atrai. Below me is a 658cc turbocharged inline-3, as well as a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Daihatsu Atrai because Daihatsu here in the United States is a mostly forbidden fruit. Back in the late 80s, we actually did get Daihatsus here natively. You could buy them at a dealership, but it didn't last very long. They had the Daihatsu Rocky and Charade and the Hi-Jet, although it was for off-road use only because it didn't comply, and then they left the American market. So Daihatsu's always a fun thing to drive as an American. But the second reason is the fact that I've driven an Atrai before, however, that was a previous generation. So this is a new generation facelift, all new for the year 2000. So we're gonna be talking about some of the updates that this little van experienced. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. Last but not least, huge thank you to JDM Select Imports here in Wisconsin for letting me borrow their Atrai in today's video. Please check out their inventory down below, or if you're interested in importing a car, contact them and they can find the right car for you. But let's get back to that 658cc inline-3 under my tush. Well, I'm not kidding. It's under my butt. As you're seeing now, it is actually under the seat, the driver's seat of the Atrai. I'm not kidding. Now, the reason it's 658cc is because this qualifies as a K car, spelled K-E-I. It's a classification of car in Japan that has very strict size requirements and engine displacement requirements in order to remain very, very small. So you can't have a motor bigger than 660 cc's, and you can't be more than a certain length and width. The benefits of a K car are plentiful. First of all, they're cheap. Small cars, small price tags. It makes sense. But the biggest thing, no pun intended, is the fact that Japan has a road tax, and sometimes regular cars are about $2,500 a year just to be able to drive on the roads. Here in America, we have little stickers we put on our license plates. It's like $100 a year. Yeah, that's $2,500 in Japan. Of course, it varies and whatnot, but around that ballpark. K cars are a lot cheaper, a lot more affordable for the road tax. They pay fractions of that price. And so someone that doesn't drive a whole lot, someone that has to just get around their town, K cars are the way. And that's what this is. So, staying within those requirements, it has the turbo inline-3. They made around 60 horsepower. I've read as high as 65. I've read as low as 55. So, yeah, it's not gonna be making a whole lot of power, but in a little thing like this, you don't need all the world's power to feel like you're having fun. It's zippy. Sure, there might be a hamster on a wheel below me, but I'm piloting around a shoebox, so not much is needed. Now, like I said, paired to it is an automatic transmission. Now, a lot of K cars and K vans are manual, and again, this is for cost savings. However, the vans were a little bit nicer and had their automatic transmissions. Last but not least, the Atrai is front-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive the Daihatsu Atrai van? Well, it drives like pretty much any other K van or K truck. If you haven't experienced that before, first of all, please find a way to, but it's a tiny little car. If you've driven your uncle's golf cart at the lake house, it's pretty much the same thing. Size-wise, feeling-wise, and quite frankly, ride quality-wise. They don't ride great. They don't turn quick. They're not super agile, at least the vans. The little K cars like the Cappuccinos and the Beats and the AZ1s, those are nimble and fun, but these are just shrunken down minivans, and so they handle like shrunken down minivans. But I like that. You know, this is such a useful tool that I don't need much more. and that's really, really nice. Visibility's fine, no news there. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my coolant temperature and fuel. In the center is my speedometer, and off to the right is the tachometer. On the steering wheel, we do get the Daihatsu badge right in the center. We get horn buttons and some nice wood accenting. Off to the right, we do have a bunch of dead switches. However, we have fog lights and power mirrors. Again, nice features to have here in a K vehicle, especially because they were more budget oriented. And moving on to the door, we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test, and it fails. I didn't have to tell you that. You could have figured that out on your own. It's a tiny, tiny little cup holder, but you got a little cup holder for your Boss coffee on your morning commute in your Daihatsu Atrai. On the rest of the door, we do have our latch to get in and out, power windows, and this nice funky material that I adore. Moving into the center, we do have an aftermarket radio. It does have an aftermarket backup camera, which is the first time I've ever used a backup camera in a K car, although it's not factory, still a weird experience. But we do have nice climate controls. We have where to send it off to the left, AC and fan speed in the center, and temperature off to the right. Love to see this. And we do have a little label down below, which translates to, please return this vehicle with a full tank of gas. Apparently this used to be a rental car at some point in its history, and the label here was to remind renters to fill it up with gas. Down below, we have the rear defrost, we have our rear wiper and a dead switch, and then we have our cigarette lighter and of course, ashtray. Now, we don't really get any center console because the front seats are actually somewhat of a bench seat, which is very, very nice and makes it very comfortable. It makes it a nice, spacious place to be. You can fold down an armrest, which is certainly nice. However, I kind of like spreading out because in K cars, you often don't get a whole lot of space. So this bench seat actually makes it feel more livable and not as crushing as other K cars tend to be. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So of course, let's hop back there and go do a back seat review. All right, getting in the back of the Daihatsu Atrai, handle here, slide it open like any common minivan, and then we can step in. Reach back, little handle here, and now we're in the back of the Daihatsu Atrai. Honestly, as you can see, my knees aren't even coming close to the seat in front of me. This is a very, very spacious K car. Again, this is essentially a micro car, and my legs are not hitting the seat in front of me. My head is not hitting the ceiling. I might as well be in a brand new Toyota Sienna back here. I might as well be in an airport shuttle. I could fit all of my luggage in here next to me, and I wouldn't even need like extra space. Like, this is so spacious, so comfortable, and you're still in a compact size. Like, I don't know. K cars continually just blow my mind. And the most impressive thing about all this, I'll try to get you out of the sun. The most impressive thing is the engineers who designed these, how they were able to make everything fit and make something spacious out of something that's the size of a kitchen counter. Like, it almost sounds like one of those like crazy science questions that your 7th grade science professor like gives you, like, you have to build a chair that can withstand 300 pounds and be dropped off the roof of the school in order to get an A. Like, you have to design a car that can fit 4 people comfortably, but it has to be within this tiny little radius. Go. Like, that's what it sounds like, and that's what they achieve. We do get a little ashtray to kind of butt out there, of course. Sliding doors on both sides. This was not the status quo for the year 2000. It was starting to become, by like 2003, 2004, every van had 2 sliding doors. But coming out of the 90s, not every van had dual sliding doors. Actually, most of them didn't. And in early 90s, almost none of them did. So very, very cool to see dual sliding doors in the back of the Atrai. Fantastic stuff. I could talk about this back seat for hours, but you're not here for that. So let's hop into the back. We'll take a quick look at the cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, coming around the back of the Atrai, we do have a big handle here, and pull it up like that, and there you go. Nothing really to write home about. With the cargo space, you do get sort of these dividers and little cubbies off to the left and right. You can pull this up and you're not really going to see much. There's just kind of metal down there. But the just sheer amount of cargo space, again, in this tiny, tiny little container, I absolutely love that. Really, really, truly something special. The amount of space they're able to fit in here. You could probably fit a 3rd row. I don't think it would be very comfortable, but you probably could. And so there you go. That is the back of a 2000 Daihatsu Atrai. Now we got to talk about the looks, and this is the biggest upgrade over the older Atrai, is the looks. And I honestly feel like Daihatsu did a really good job bringing this into the modern era. This looks like a product of the 2000s, and that wasn't always a given with a lot of rebranded products coming out of the 90s. The 90s was kind of a melted butter version of the 80s, you know, still hard lines, but rounded off at the edges. The 90s then started to push for really aerodynamic shapes, and that's what this is. At least it looks that way. I can't imagine this van is actually very aerodynamic, but it has that look to it, you know, the sort of blobby headlights and things like that. Overall, this looks like a product of the 2000s, and that's what I would want. Oh, by the way, these are a factory wheel. If you got the turbo model, they were optional, but that is a factory Daihatsu tri-spoke. How sick is that? It's also a basic van, so like, it's not, you know, a fashion statement or anything like that. So overall, it's a win. I give it a pass. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving another Daihatsu Atrai? Well, of course, I always love these little vans. I mean, these little vans are just, they're so good because they're good at what they do. And it feels like a really well-tuned tool. They're fun enough, they're interesting, they're quirky, they're different. I love these vans. And it's nice to be driving one that has now been brought into the 21st century. I know the very first model year, 2000, but still, we have nice features. I have fog lights and power mirrors and power windows and cup holders and air conditioning and defrosters. I mean, I could daily drive this. If it weren't for the safety of it, you know, very, very thin doors, side impact ain't gonna be pretty. Besides that, I love these so much. And there's something that you feel when you drive K cars and then get back into regular big American cars. You don't need it. Look at this. This is a Volkswagen Taos. This is the smallest SUV that Volkswagen sells in the United States. That starts to look obtuse when compared to this. Why do we need so much? Why are cars so big? Crash protection, sure, but the buck kind of stops there. You start to realize you might be able to live with a lot less than what we're currently living with. And that's what the Atrai gives you. The Atrai isn't a crazy diet. It's just counting your calories and understanding what gives you what, when, and where. The Atrai is just little and light from day one. Doesn't need anything else. And it's still a van. It's still so practical. In this tiny container, I love it. I really do. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to JDM Select Imports here in Wisconsin for letting me borrow their Atrai. Please go check out their information down below. Check out their inventory. They're building something really cool up here. It's not quite finished yet, but when it is, I will be sure to do a video and show you guys because it is just such a cool and special space. If you want a car imported, please go check them out, reach out, let them know what you want, and they'll find you the right car. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.